Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Michaela and I'm ready today to do with you my newest bottom shorts. Actually, there will be bottoms and shorts in the same time for my pole dance collection. So I've got my fabric ready. It's the so they have the front with Lycra, and then the shorts they are made with a mesh. So I'm going to go to explain you a little bit my pieces. So this is my front piece. I've cut already my the shorts are I'm not showing them to be reversible. So yeah, I've got my this is my front piece cut. I've got my Lycra and my lining. Since my main fabric is a velvet fabric, it's not really stretchy, so I had to cut as well a Lycra on the back as a lining. And these are my back pieces. They would be thongs, so they will be unified like that in the middle. These are the back pieces. This is my my band, my waistband, and these are the mesh pieces. As you see, I marked them where will be the leg connection with the Lycra. So I've got them a little bit with a little mark. And actually, I don't think you can see, but my mesh has like a little shiny side, so it also helps me to know which is my shiny side. All right, so first what I'm going to do actually would be pinning and connecting my back pieces, so they would come together first as a one piece. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to connect them, I'm going to pin them first, and I'm going to have them connected right in the middle like this. And I will be doing the same for my Lycra pieces. This is my main, so I'm putting the right sides together. So on the other fabric is way more visual that I'm placing the right sides together. Okay, so I'm pinning both my lining and my Lycra fabric, main fabric, yeah. And as well, I go ahead and I'm folding into my waistband, and I'm actually also pinning it like that in the middle, and all the rest will have to wait. So I'm going ahead and prepare my serger, and I'm going to show you how I connect the back pieces. If you don't have a serger, I recommend you to use a zigzag stitch on your sew machine. I usually, when I'm using the zigzag stitch, I usually use the width on 3.5 and the length on 3.5 as well. Okay, so I've got my machines ready, and first I'm going to do a basting stitch. I use this basting stitch very often. I always show it in my videos. I'm going to show you as well today once how I'm doing it. So it's practically a straight stitch on the highest stitch length, and this stitch is helping me to maintain the fabrics together, to keep the fabrics together so they don't slide. It happens sometimes with Lycra. Before this, I use this stitch before I serge it, or before you zigzag stitch it. Yeah. So you see, it's just practically a straight stitch, and then I go ahead and I make these little cuts into my stitch, so it will allow my fabric to stretch. You can either rip it or completely remove it once you've zigzag stitch. I don't mind, since I have these little stitches on, I don't mind having it. Then I go ahead and I'm going to my serger, and and I'm immediately serging my main fabric, since it's actually not a slippery fabric. That's one, and then I go ahead and I do the same on my lining. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to place my front piece on top of my back piece. I do this for the main fabric, so for my Lycra fabric, and as well for my lining fabric. And what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to repeat this step as well on the lining pieces. So just the sides, I'm pinning them, and then I do a basting stitch on both my lining and my Lycra, matching the right sides of the fabric together. Okay, so now that I did my basting stitches on both my Lycra and on both of my linings, I'm going ahead and I'm going to my serger, and I'm gonna serge the sides. I didn't do the little cuts on these parts because actually I don't need any stretch over here. The stretch comes horizontally. So I serge both parts like this. And next, what I'm going to do, I'm going to attach my my mesh to my Lycra fabric. Yes, so I'm turning my bottoms on the right side of the fabric together, and I've marked which side is my front piece to be connected and which is the back piece. So I'm placing it facing right side together on the right side together. Both. Sorry, this is the good one. So I've got here, yes, this is my front piece. This is the front. I see the little shines. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and pin like this the mesh. I'm going to do the same basting stitch first because I'm going to actually hide it in between my lining and my Lycra fabric, because I don't want my seam to be seen, my seam of the mesh. So in this step, it's actually really important that you're not stretching, or you're not especially the mesh can be quite stretchier than your Lycra, so it's important that you're not stretching it in any way. You're just pinning it so it will fit perfectly with your bottoms. All right, you see I did stretch it a little bit because it's not fitting me so perfectly. And I'm going to check where before I do my basting stitch. Okay, I'm going to remove it a little bit from here, and that's it. Now I'm going to do the basting stitch, and then I'm going to show you the next step. Okay, so I went ahead and I did my basting stitch like I was telling you. I've stitched over my mesh fabric. I prefer this as maybe my my foot of my machine maybe would have not fed properly. And now I'm going ahead and I'm going to make these little cuts into my mesh fabric. for the same reason, like always, to have this little stretch. And then I'm going ahead and I'm going to place the lining pieces on top. So we are sandwiching the mesh. Once I've pinned that, I'm going to immediately serge it. So you can serge it or directly zigzag stitch it if you don't have a zigzag stitch. Okay, so I'm going to place the Lycra fabric, the lining fabric on top of my Lycra fabric. I'm matching the right sides together and I'm just placing it like this. And now I go ahead and I'm pinning all around this this part which we just did. And of course I'm going to do off camera. You have to make sure also that when you get here to the side seam, you have to make sure that you're lining it up correctly, so the side seams are not these missed, or I don't know the word, sorry, that they have to be connected together. All right, so I'm pinning it all around and I'm going to serge it together with you. And when you're serging it, you have to make sure, look once in a while, that you're not gathering any fabric underneath or you're not catching any of the mesh. Sometimes it can move underneath and it can be a little bit tricky. You see here this bit, for example, it's very tiny, and here underneath this this tongue piece can be very tiny. Okay, so I've pinned it and I'm going straight on serging it. In case you feel like you should do a basting stitch as well, I totally recommend to do a basting stitch. I don't feel like basting stitching it, but if you need to, yes, I recommend you to do it. We are not adding elastic to the bit, but I'm going to give a little stretch to my under fabric as it's tinier, less stretchy. This is just for my type of fabric which I'm using as the main piece. So I need to give this little stretch in order to fit perfectly with my with my lining. And as I said, when I'm getting on this part here, I'm paying a little more attention that I'm not getting any extra fabric underneath. Okay, here it is, and I'm going to show you how beautifully it looks, and it's hidden completely on the between, and it actually cannot roll. So actually using this technique you can totally do it reversible, but of course mesh will be only one color. Amazing, very beautiful. I'm so in love. Okay, so now I'm going to do off camera my other side, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to add my waistband, and I'm going to do a binding. So if you don't have a binding for the lower parts, if you don't have a cover stitch machine, You can use the folding over, or you can simply attach your piece of strap just like that. I did it sometimes, and then you fold it over, and then you can zigzag stitch it, and then you have the binding. So you're folding in two and zigzag stitch it all around, and then I recommend always to unfold it, kind of like to bring it on the right side and do a top stitch so it won't roll underneath. I will make a video soon about how to use different techniques of binding. Okay, so I went ahead and I've already attached my other side of my mesh on my Lycra, and the next step, what we are going to do, we are going to actually sandwich it. And since my lining side is already attached together, so I'm going to just bring it over, so you sandwich it completely, you're folding on top of it. And the same, like I said, is really, really important. And especially in this little small part, you are not going to, you have to take care that you're not, your fabric is not gathering just like this, you know. So make sure that you, when you are serging it or zigzag stitching it, you feel that you're not you're not sewing over more layers than it should be. Okay, so I just wanted to show you how you should do the last bit, and then I'm going to serge it off camera. So I'm just practically sandwiching it like this way all over, making sure that I'm matching my sides together, my side seams together, like this. Okay, so I'm almost done, and I'm going ahead and going to serge it off camera. So as you saw, the way of doing it is just bringing the lining over the Lycra and the mesh. Okay, so as you see, this is how it looks like. Everything is sandwiched underneath. I'm just going ahead, I'm going to turn it on the right side of the fabric, everything. And look how beautifully is the seams are hidden on the inside. The seams of the mesh connecting it, they're all hidden on the inside. Nothing is rolling as it's going to be worn. Nothing will be rolled. Looking amazing. So next step I'm going to do, I'm going to pin all my upper part of my bottoms because I'm ready to add the waistband. So I'm pinning it, and I'm going to do a basting stitch like usually. Once I'm done with the basting stitch, I'll do this off camera. Once I'm done it, I'm going to show you how I'm going to attach the waistband. Like I said, this is I'm not showing a reversible on how to do it reversible, but like if you wish to do it reversible, please feel free to contact me. I'm going to show you how to do it. Look how beautiful it's looking already. I'm so excited. Yes, so I'm going to bust stitch. I'm going to do my little cut in the bust stitch. Once I've bust stitched it, I'm going to yeah, I will actually sew the waistband already, the side of it, and I'm going to as well folding it in two. I'm going to bust stitch it as well. So I'm opening like this. I'm not adding any elastic since my Lycra fabric, this velvet fabric, it's actually really it's really thick, so it doesn't need any elastic. So I'm just simply using it, the waistband as it is. So yeah, I'm And as well, in this step, if you feel like you want your waistband to be kind of like more defined, once you've done the busting stitch, you can give like a little press on the band, so then it stays more like folded, so it's not like looking like this, which is quite thick. So yes, I'm going ahead and I'm going as well going to do a little press using my Cricut, and then I'm going to attach it, and I'm going to show you how to attach it. So I'm going to do the basting stitch off camera. Once I've done the basting stitch, I'm coming back to show you how I will attach it. Okay, so I did my basting stitch on both my bottoms and on my waistband, and this is actually this step you can use it exactly if you don't have a binder on a cover stitch. If you don't have a cover stitch or a binder, you can use exactly this step the same as you do it on the band. You can do it for your well, leg band, right? So that I'm not going to show you because I do have a cover stitch. Actually, I'm going to use a binder, so I think it's irrelevant for a lot of you. So I'm going to show you how I'm doing this, the waistband. And actually, I just wanted to tell you, I'm placing it on top of my bottoms, and the waistband is slightly smaller. This is what I wanted to say. The waistband will be slightly smaller, so when I'm pinning, I'm actually slightly pulling it that it fits well around my bottoms like this. And I'm going to serge it so you can zigzag stitch it. And last, I'm going to give a little press, and as well I'm going to go over and cover stitch. So I'm going to show you how I'm attaching the band on camera, and how I will cover stitch it, and well, top stitch it, and pressing that will be off camera. So okay, so I'm going ahead and I'm going to serge my waistband. Okay, so my bottoms are almost finished. I'm so excited. And yes, like I said, I'm going to first do a top stitch with my cover stitch machine. So I'm going to and then I'm going to give a little press over my band that it's actually a little bit more straight. And last, I'm going to add the binding to my bottoms, which I will be doing it with my cover stitch. So this will be done off camera. So yes, if you have any questions, please feel free to write me, and happy sewing. Okay, so I almost forgot the last step, and I've realized it that I didn't tell you how to finish off. So first I'm going to actually do a basting stitch to secure my lining with my Lycra, and the same, I'm going to do the same for here. And afterwards I'm going to place it on top of each other, yeah, this is the reason why they cannot be actually reversible. So I'm going to place it on top of each other like this, and I'm going to make sure that I'm matching my my binding together with my mesh and my front piece, and then again the with the back piece and then the binding together. I'm going to do a straight stitch over, and then sorry, I'm going to do a serged stitched over, and I'm going to do a straight stitch over. So first I'm actually going to do the binding, the binding, sorry, the basting stitch like that, and the basting stitch like this. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do the basting stitch off camera, and then I'm going to show you how I put them together. Okay, so I did my basting stitch, and now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pin, and I'm going to start with my binding like this. I make sure that I'm matching the binding with the binding, and the front piece with my back piece. Okay, so the same, I'm going to first go ahead and do a basting stitch. Why? Because I want them that they are not actually moving around, and this stitch is actually quite important. I'm doing quite like almost a centimeters distance, and I'm going to explain you why I will be doing this 1 centimeters distance, because afterwards I'm going to actually fold it over. Sorry. Okay, so since this is my main stitch, I'm going ahead and I'm going to do one more stitch right over. I'm not serging it, this is just a straight stitch. Okay, and with this I'm going afterwards and I'm going to fold it like that. It doesn't really matter where you decide to fold it. Like if you have any loose threads from before, just trim them. Now is a good moment. So yeah, I'm going to fold it on one side. So I'm actually hiding the seam. I go ahead first and trim a little bit my loose ends. Like this. Okay, so last last of the steps, I'm going ahead and I'm going to folding it on one side. It doesn't really matter which side, I mean, you can decide. And actually for this I'm going to use my zigzag stitch, because I want kind of like to have my ends nicely. So yeah, it's quite thick, and I'm slightly helping it with my fingers, pushing it aside. This step is really important, that you're not going to get a finger in between. So you see I'm lifting the foot, kind of like to give a little help, so it's feeding. Okay, this is it. So I'm so sorry if I said before that it can be done reversible. It cannot be done reversible because of this last stage. If it can be done, I'm honest to you, I haven't thought about a way yet. I created them to be non-reversible. Okay, so this is the final result. I haven't given a press yet to my waistband, but I will soon give. And look how beautiful they look like. I'm going to give as well a little press to my binding side. But yeah, this is the final result. I hope you enjoy it, and happy sewing.